This video is going to be a brief review of compounds and mixtures. Let's start by looking at elements. Elements contain only one kind of atom. Here I have a diagram of oxygen gas and helium gas, and what you can see is that the oxygen contains only oxygen atoms, whereas the helium contains only helium atoms. Compounds contain two or more types of atoms that are chemically joined. An example of a compound would be salt, which is an ionic compound. This consists of sodium and chloride ions that are joined through ionic bonds. Water vapor is another example of a compound. Water molecules consist of two hydrogen and one oxygen atom that are chemically joined. Mixtures contain two or more types of atoms or molecules that can be physically separated. The diagrams that I have here show a mixture of oxygen and helium gas and a mixture of water vapor and oxygen gas. What you can see here is that the components of each mixture are not chemically joined. Let's look at some real-life examples of compounds and mixtures. Let's start with water, or H2O. We already know that this is a compound. Pure water only contains water molecules and nothing else, so pure water would be a compound. Another example of a compound could be sugar. So pure sugar contains only this molecule called sucrose. If the sugar only contains this sucrose molecule, the sugar is a compound. A final example of a compound would be table salt. If your salt only contains sodium chloride, then it's a compound because it just contains these sodium and chloride ions that are chemically joined. What about if we have a cup of tea and we put a spoonful of sugar in this tea? Is this a compound or a mixture? This is actually a mixture because it has quite a few different components. This cup of tea has some compounds from the tea bag, it's got water, and it's got sugar. This means that our tea is a mixture. The same thing with seawater. Seawater has a lot of different components, for example, sand, water, salt, some other minerals. This means that the seawater is a mixture. What are some examples of compounds and mixtures that you can think of?